So, Alycia Baumgardner, Dubois, Alycia Baumgardner, Dubois.
And Caroline Dubois?
Yes. What do you think about that fight? Just as a purist boxing fan.
As a purist boxing fan, I don't think Alycia got enough fight in her to actually go against a dog like Caroline Dubois. You know, it's crazy. She want to skip 4 or 5 different weight classes. She want to fight me and all this stuff. She'll knock me out, blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as a girl who's 5 pounds bigger than you call you out, now she's a puppy. You don't want to fight against her. Like, I think Caroline Dubois would beat Alycia Baumgardner ass. And I would love to see that fight. You know, actually, I end up hitting them Nikisa and I said, hey, man, I see all this chatter going around. You know, when I get through the fight with Fran Sean, how about me and Shade should go at a main event, and then a co-main event we have Alycia Baumgardner versus Caroline Dubois. I think that'd be the female fight card of the year. You think?
Yeah, I think so. Some people think Alicia's ducking because
she is.
Is she?
Yeah, she's ducking her.
What were you gonna say, Dimitri?
Can I just add something to this
Sure.
conversation? Alycia Baumgardner has been a clickbait fighter. She's been, I mean, that's for real. She's been using Clarissa's name.
She has.
And for years. And
yeah.
You've reached out. I called her manager. I called her promoter back then. And it was unrealistic.
Yeah.
Claressa was going to come down to 153, was it? 153, 154. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to do it like 140 something. So it's like Terrence Crawford. Well, that's not a good example.
Well, that's like making Canelo come down to Terrence Crawford weight class 154 from 168.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Terrence Crawford fighting Anthony Joshua, but we can only fight at 168 pounds. It's impossible to begin with. So it's all just to create drama. And like Claressa said, Caroline Dubois and her is a great fight. So let's see.
Make it happen.
Claressa always fought the best.
The boxing world is heating up again, and this time, the fire is coming straight from Claressa Shields, who didn't hold back in her latest explosive comments aimed at Alycia Baumgardner. In a no-filter moment that's already shaking up social media, Shields allegedly called out Baumgardner for ducking smoke, accusing her of avoiding a high-stakes showdown with rising star Caroline Dubois. The statement instantly lit up timelines, with fans split right down the middle, some backing Shields' boldness, others questioning whether the call-out went too far. What makes this even more intense is the timing. The women's boxing scene is already buzzing with potential superfights, and every move, every quote, and every silence is being watched under a microscope. Shields, known for never shying away from controversy or confrontation, once again positioned herself at the center of the conversation, demanding clarity and courage in the division. Meanwhile, Baumgardner's side has remained relatively quiet, which is only adding fuel to the speculation. Is this a case of strategic career moves, or is there really a fight being avoided behind the scenes? And where does Caroline Dubois fit into all of this rising tension? One thing is clear, this isn't just talk anymore. It's becoming one of the most talked about potential clashes in women's boxing right now. And fans are demanding answers. The situation didn't calm down after Claressa Shields' initial comments. In fact, it only escalated. What started as a sharp call-out quickly turned into a full-blown conversation dominating boxing circles, with fans, analysts, and even fighters weighing in on what this could mean for the future of women's boxing. And now, the silence from Alycia Baumgardner's camp is becoming just as loud as Shields' words. Inside the sport, there's an unspoken rule. When a name like Claressa Shields speaks, people listen. Not just because she's a multi-division champion, but because she has built a reputation for saying exactly what she believes, regardless of backlash. So when she allegedly labeled Baumgardner as someone ducking smoke in a potential clash involving Caroline Dubois, it wasn't taken lightly. It was treated like a challenge, thrown in the middle of the ring before the bell even rang. Fans immediately split into factions. One side argues Shields is simply doing what true competitors do, calling out what she sees as hesitation in the sport's biggest matchups. The other side believes she's stirring unnecessary drama, potentially pressuring fighters into fights on terms they haven't agreed to yet. But regardless of which side people fall on, one thing is undeniable: the conversation has gone global. What makes this situation even more intriguing is the rise of Caroline Dubois in the equation. Dubois has been building serious momentum in the lightweight scene, and many fans already see her as one of the most dangerous young talents in women's boxing. The idea of her being involved in a potential clash with Baumgardner is something fans have been discussing for months, but now, with Shields inserting herself into the narrative, everything feels more urgent, more personal, and far more unpredictable. As the story continues to unfold, questions are being raised about whether this is about legacy, timing, or strategy. Baumgardner, who has already proven herself at the highest level, may be carefully choosing her next move to protect her career trajectory, manage weight class transitions, or secure the biggest financial opportunity. But in the world of boxing, perception often matters just as much as reality. And right now, the perception among some fans is that she's avoiding a dangerous stylistic matchup. Meanwhile, Shields supporters argue that she is simply forcing accountability in a sport that sometimes thrives on delayed super fights. They say she is pushing for clarity in a division that desperately needs defining matchups. In their eyes, her comments aren't disrespect, they're pressure applied in real time to make the biggest fights happen sooner rather than later. But critics of Shields see it differently. They believe she is inserting herself into a conversation that doesn't directly involve her current competitive path, using her platform to escalate tension between other fighters. Some even suggest that this type of commentary adds unnecessary noise that could complicate negotiations or delay fights rather than accelerate them. Still, the boxing world knows one thing for sure: where Claressa Shields is involved, attention follows. And attention is exactly what this situation has now fully captured. Behind the scenes, speculation is running wild. Promoters are being mentioned. Possible fight dates are being imagined. Fans are already fantasy booking press conferences filled with stare-downs, heated exchanges, and weigh-in drama. Social media edits, highlight reels, and prediction threads are spreading rapidly, turning what was once a simple call-out into a full-blown narrative war. But there's another layer to this story that can't be ignored: the mental game. In boxing, words are never just words. Every statement becomes part of a psychological battle long before fighters ever step into the ring. Shields' comment may have been sharp, but its impact lies in how it forces responses or silence. And right now, silence is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Alycia Baumgardner's camp has not made any major public counter-response, and that alone has become a topic of debate. Some interpret it as focus staying locked in, avoiding distractions, and not engaging in social media wars. Others see it as a strategic pause, possibly waiting for the right moment to respond with clarity, confirmation, or even a fight announcement. And then there's Caroline Dubois, quietly positioned at the center of all this attention without directly fueling the fire. Her name being mentioned repeatedly in this context only raises her profile further, whether she asked for it or not. For a rising fighter, this kind of spotlight can be both a blessing and a burden. It accelerates recognition, but it also increases pressure and expectations. As the narrative continues to build, one thing becomes increasingly clear: fans aren't just asking for drama, they're asking for resolution. They want to know if this is leading to a fight, a series of fights, or just another moment of social media tension that fades with time. And in boxing, unresolved tension has a way of either exploding into mega fights or disappearing into silence. Right now, everything is still hanging in the balance. No contracts have been signed publicly. No official announcements have been made. No confirmed face-offs are scheduled. But the intensity of the conversation suggests something is brewing beneath the surface. Whether it's negotiations, scheduling conflicts, or simply competitive positioning, the sport feels like it's edging closer to a moment where talk will finally need to become action, and if that moment arrives. The build-up created by this exchange Shields' comments, Baumgardner's silence, and Dubois' rising presence could turn a simple matchup into one of the most anticipated clashes in women's boxing. Until then, the debate continues. The pressure builds, and the boxing world watches closely, waiting to see who speaks next and what they say when they finally do. The tension didn't fade instead. It reached a boiling point as the boxing world waited for someone to blink first. After Claressa Shields' fiery comments and the growing silence from Alycia Baumgardner's side, the narrative has now shifted from simple call-outs to something much bigger, a potential collision of egos, legacies, and unfinished business. Fans aren't just debating words anymore, they're demanding action. Every day that passes without a clear response adds more fuel to the fire. Social media is flooded with clips, opinions, and fantasy matchups, while analysts break down what a fight between Baumgardner and Caroline Dubois could actually look like inside the ring. Speed, power, timing, defense, everything is being dissected as if the fight is already signed, even though the contracts remain untouched. And through it all, Claressa Shields' voice still echoes in the background, amplifying the pressure. Whether seen as motivation or provocation, her comments have undeniably shifted attention onto a situation that was already simmering beneath the surface. Now, it feels like the entire division is being watched under a spotlight it can't escape. But the biggest question remains unanswered. Is this building toward a mega fight? Or just another viral moment in boxing that fades with time? Baumgardner's next move could change everything. One statement, one interview, or one official announcement could flip the entire storyline upside down. For now, uncertainty rules the conversation. The fighters are silent, the fans are restless, and the speculation is louder than ever. In boxing, silence often speaks just as loudly as words, and right now, that silence is deafening. As the story continues to hang in uncertainty, the pressure is now shifting from social media noise to real-world expectations. Fans are no longer satisfied with opinions, call-outs, or speculation. They want confirmation, contracts, and an actual fight announcement. The longer this situation drags on, the more intense the demand becomes for clarity from all sides involved. Claressa Shields' remarks have already done their job in keeping the spotlight firmly on the conversation. But now the focus is turning toward Alycia Baumgardner and how she chooses to respond moving forward. Whether she addresses the claims directly or lets her performances in the ring do the talking. Every move will now be analyzed in detail. At the same time, Caroline Dubois continues to rise quietly through the ranks, benefiting from the attention while staying focused on her own journey.